Coach Erick Nicksick is backing Magomed Ankalaev to get the job done against Alex Pereira at UFC 313, believing Ankalaev's wrestling will be the key to victory. When asked who he'd bet $10,000 on, Nicksick didn't hesitate. He'd put his money on Ankalaev. His reasoning is the glaring hole in Pereira's game. While the reigning champ has shown improvements in defensive grappling, Nicksick points to how Jan Blachowicz had him in deep trouble on the ground 2 years ago. In his eyes, Ankalaev is on a whole different level when it comes to wrestling. Coach has seen Ankalaev train up close and describes him as a methodical grappler who doesn't rush positions but instead forces opponents into mistakes. Unlike fighters who jump from one dominant spot to another too quickly, the Dagestani stays heavy, wears opponents down, and makes them work to escape. If Pereira allows Ankalaev to dictate the fight, he could be in serious trouble. Another interesting factor Nicksick highlighted is the battle for cage control. Pereira usually pressures forward, but Ankalaev is often the one dictating pace and movement in his fights. If Ankalaev is able to score early takedowns, he might force Pereira to hesitate, changing the entire dynamic of the fight. Still, Nicksick acknowledges Pereira's improvement since his fight with Blachowicz, especially in his defensive wrestling. But against a high-level wrestler like Ankalaev, he believes Pereira will need more than just improvements. He'll need to fight the perfect fight to avoid being shut down.
I would go Ankalaev if you said, hey, you have to pick one. I'm going to go with the guy that has a glaring hole in his game and a guy who can exploit that hole through good wrestling. He can wrestle like a motherfucker. It's not the penetration shots. It's like the re-wrestle. It's the way that he doesn't rush position to position to position. He'll be in a spot and he'll work a dude until that position expires, where he makes you move, right? How many times have we seen a guy get to like topside half and then rush to mount?
Yeah, for no reason.
For no fucking reason. I mean, Ankalaev's done 8 camps at our gym. Like, I watched this guy, and his style shuts you down. Like, you gotta, if you're Alex, and you gotta own center cage, right? And not only do you have to own center cage, but you have to have some good footwork. If Jan Blachowicz was able to take him down one more time in Salt Lake, we might not be looking at Alex Pereira as a champion right now.
Marlon Vera found a unique way to grab attention during UFC 313 Fight Week, but it didn't take long for fans to call his bluff. A viral video surfaced Friday morning showing Chito working on his truck when a man allegedly attempted to rob him at knife point in his driveway. Without hesitation, Vera dove into his vehicle, pulled out a shotgun, and sent the thief running. However, many fans on social media were skeptical, with several pointing out how staged the encounter seemed. According to MMA Fighting's Mike Heck, their suspicions were correct. The video was merely a skit, as confirmed by a source close to the situation. Merab Dvalishvili and Sean O'Malley had a surprise run-in at the UFC Performance Institute, and despite their competitive history, the vibes were nothing but positive. The two bantamweight standouts briefly discussed their potential rematch, with Merab jokingly claiming he'd strike more next time, while Sean responded by saying he now has both hips fully healthy, unlike their last encounter when he was dealing with an injury. The respect was mutual, as O'Malley complimented Merab's last fight, calling it impressive, and the champ acknowledged Sean's skills as well. While nothing is set in stone, their lighthearted exchange only fueled excitement for a possible rematch down the line.
Ready to go, baby, again? Yes, sir. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. What are you weighing? 58? 57? Something like that. Yeah. You been enjoying Champ Life?
Beginning, no, now I am.
It's 93 more. Oh, actually. The last fight was impressive. You look good. That was a fun fight to watch.
So when we're gonna fight, I know you hit hard, and then I know you're gonna change plan.
I only had one hip last time, so I got both hips now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna use my strike.
No.
Dana White didn't seem too surprised about the heated altercation between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev just hours before UFC 313. The two light heavyweights had a tense encounter at the UFC Fighter Hotel when they crossed paths. According to Magomed's main sparring partner, the fighters locked eyes before exchanging words and moving closer. Their teams quickly stepped in to separate them before anything escalated. What exactly was said remains unclear, and with neither fighter fluent in English, the situation only adds to the anticipation of their fight. Ankalaev later confirmed the incident in an interview with Usha Taika, but didn't make much of it, simply stating that they had a brief exchange and it would all be settled soon in the cage. Quote, "Yes, it was here in the hallway. He was walking with a crowd of his people and knew that it wasn't going to get to the point of getting physical. But we exchanged words and whatever, it will be resolved very soon." End quote. Dana White, however, wasn't too surprised. He pointed out that Pereira had already displayed an aggressive attitude at the pre-fight press conference. At one point, he had stared down an interviewer in the middle of a question. White saw this as part of Pereira's natural intensity, noting that the Brazilian was just built that way. Despite the tensions, the UFC president assured that they had a plan in place to prevent any further incidents and ensure both fighters made it to the octagon without issue.
He's that guy. This is his first altercation. I don't know if you guys noticed at the press conference yesterday too. To the right, somebody yelled something. He's in the middle of a conversation. He looked like he's trying to see who said that. Like what? You're gonna run over there and you're gonna fight this guy too? It's the way he is. He's built that way. And I don't know if you saw, but we try to diffuse this stuff before it happens.
Paddy Pimblett names Ilia Topuria on his 3-man hit list. Paddy has set his sights on some of the biggest names in the lightweight division, naming a 3-man hit list after his UFC 314 showdown with Michael Chandler. Following his impressive 6-fight win streak, which included a submission victory over Bobby Green at UFC 304, Paddy is stepping into the biggest challenge of his career thus far against the former title contender Chandler. At the UFC 314 press conference, Paddy outlined his future goals, including his desire to face Ilia Topuria after defeating Chandler. While he acknowledged the challenge of El Matador, he expressed confidence, saying he would rather see Islam Makhachev hold onto the title, believing the Georgian wouldn't be able to reach him. Along with Ilia, Paddy also expressed interest in facing high-profile opponents like Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira, with the ultimate goal being a title shot. Paddy's ambitions are clear. He's looking to make a statement and secure a title fight by taking on some of the toughest fighters in the division. Quote, "I'd rather see Islam Makhachev holding the belt. I don't think Ilia gets near him. After I beat Chandler, I'd love to fight Ilia next, but we'll see what happens. I'd love to fight Dustin Poirier. I'd love to fight Charles Oliveira. I just want to fight someone who will get me a title fight because obviously that's what we do this for." End quote. What do you think? Would you like to see Paddy Pimblett face Ilia Topuria? Do you think he gets past Michael Chandler? Leave your comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.